Why is there a generator running? Didn't know there was no electric here.
Oh, trust me. It's like I came in this morning, I was like, oh, okay. It's like, nope. Okay. I don't know if that ain't going.
It kind of sees me there.
Yeah.
That's the problem with those servers. I like them too, but you
So-
almost got to put something.
Yeah.
Put under.
Put something under it. Well, I'll let you. I mean, if you want to, yeah, give me a book or so.
Free books, and we put that under there. That'll survive. I think I also included Rich Clemens because he's been active in the email, but I didn't know who else to include. And Dave
Well, yeah.
Poe talked like he was going to be here. So
Well, no, right, Dave, he called me and told me he wasn't going to make it. So, and I told him, well, don't forget to at least try to, get on the meeting. But yeah, the good thing is once we get, when Ed comes on, or Kathy comes on, that we'll have a quorum. And that's what we need.
either him or Jane, right?
Yeah, well, no, you're the two, you're secretary, right? So you've got your two officers.
Okay.
And then just three others. It doesn't, and it did, from what I can remember, it has to be a total of 5. And it doesn't matter if it's 3 officers and two people or
Somebody will get on, Dave or somebody.
And of course, we can always.
Oh yeah, I'll grab Sonny and Jason if we need to.
Oh, and Kenny, and tell
I'm
Kenny come
waving him
over
down.
and then have him sign. Okay.
You guys are welcome to be part of this meeting.
How did it knack him?
I don't know. Here, hold on.
Yeah.
Grab you a chair and.
Well, he's probably gonna try to do it by himself. I hate to call him.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out what
Yeah, 304-198-7272.
happens. So what happened when you tried to get on?
198
198.
7272.
I sent it backwards. Oh, okay. All right.
Somebody's dyslexic.
Maybe.
Should have typed with your left finger, not your right one.
I never heard that one
Hey,
before. There you
You
go.
never know. He could have gave it to me backwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it could be great stuff.
And I should have used the left side of my mouth instead of the right side of my mouth.
Yep.
My dad always said things didn't go right. You didn't hold your mouth right.
So there we go. He's in. Well, as soon as I can. Okay, where'd my mouse go?
It's right there.
Okay.
Well, we see his call sign. That's a good sign.
Yep.
There he is. What's happening, Mr. Ambulance driver? He's waving.
I was gonna say, we do have volume turned on. Oh, we got music mode.
There we go. Can you hear us, Captain?
I'm gonna go back here in the other room while I'm on this meeting.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we still got another.
You want to come around and see Grandpa?
It doesn't look any prettier than he did yesterday.
Hi, buddy. Did Daddy buy you anything?
Yes, he did.
Here.
Oh, got to bring it up closer. You can't.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Well, it's not going to let.
Yeah.
It's a micro drone.
Oh boy, he's gonna have fun with that.
Yep. Let's say attendance sheet. Mr. Secretary, do you have one?
I'm doing that one right now.
He's doing one right now.
Anybody need a pen? I've got an extra. I always carry more than
Oh,
one
that's
for me. Well, maybe I do.
gonna be rough. Mr. Secretary, not Mrs. Secretary. I definitely want to say thank you for stepping up into the position, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I know.
He said know what it entails yet.
That's okay, he'll make it.
I see you, boy.
And then he runs away giggling. Hopefully you can hear us pretty well. There's no electric here at the Ham Fest.
That's what I heard.
And I got there's a generator running out back. You probably hear
I
it.
can hear you fine. I can hear you fine.
Very good. I put Cappy on there too. Good.
Okay. I never seem to be able to find my mouse. There it is. 35%.
Will that get us by?
I hope.
Whenever it dies, the meeting's adjourned.
That's it. I don't know if you can run me an extension cord over here real quick or not.
I got it.
Yeah.
You
just
did.
lost my eraser off the top of my pen, but I don't know where it went.
Okay.
The little black thing. Don't worry about it. We can't find it. Who knows where it went? Oh, well, no big deal. Little eagle eyes down there. Paul.
That would be it all the way over there, but on the floor. It might be clear over there by the window.
I don't think that.
Right there by your hand.
I don't think that's it. It's
Is
black.
that,
Oh,
okay.
oh well, no big deal. What I get for playing with it and flying out of there.
But then find it. But except for this.
There you go.
This
What's that? 4/8 County Fair from 1975.
Wow.
75.
That's older than you.
Oh, me. About 2 years.
I was gonna say, if you were born before
Oh, okay.
you were 88, you're older than
Cool. 1975. I remember that year.
77.
Barely.
You always do.
Barely.
Yeah, that's cool. You can keep that.
What's new, Cappy? Anything?
Well, we've had a couple runs and that's been about it.
And who do you work for?
Valley Medical Transport.
Okay. So you don't do emergency runs, or do you?
Yeah, actually, that's all we've done today is emergency runs.
Oh, okay.
If the volunteer squads don't get out and we have a crew available, we run the call.
I got you. Okay. So then there's a crew on duty 24 hours a day? Is it just like 8 or 10 hours a day?
We're manned 24 hours a day.
All right. How do we add,
Cloud, and then be able to give you the cloud.
bringing Dan in? Okay.
Because we pay.
There's
for it, we should
Dan.
Be able to definitely save it.
Okay.
He's muted, but we got him.
All right.
Now what you got? A piece of a rubber band, a very small rubber band. That's cool.
You come over here and sit down, buddy. Sit on my lap.
Looks like you did more Cappy and Dan.
I got Cappy and Dan both.
Via video.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Ed.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay.
How's the attendance down there today?
Well, I don't know how it was earlier. We didn't get here till after 11 o'clock. I thought it was down from the last time we were here.
All tables were full.
Okay, that's good. So we rolled in, and of course we saw and heard a generator running, and wondered what was going on, and come in, and there was no electric here. So as Kenny Harris always does, he made it happen. So
Kenny probably carries a generator in the trunk of his car just in
well,
case.
I think he probably had it in the truck already, and he had cords, and he had them all ran up high and had lights all through the place. So
That's just the way he rolls.
that's the way he rolls, exactly. All right, well, I see it's 1 o'clock, so let's go ahead and call the October meeting of the West Virginia State Amateur Radio Council to order. Just so everybody knows who's here, of course, myself, Ed Messenger, NNOYY. Matt Gregg, WV8MAT, our secretary is here. Eddie Kaplinger, KD8MIB. Greg Reinhardt, N8XAQ. Sonny Job, WC8L. Jason Robinson, N3LSJ. Of course, Cappy, WV8KDC is online, and Dan Ringer, KWV. So it's about a normal turnout for one of these meetings. So anyway, since we're kind of in some ways starting over almost fresh, since we've been at this now for a couple years with COVID, we've canceled at least two conventions. We had one.
Both conventions have been online.
We're kind of hoping that this next year in 2022, we actually can have a convention. So let's hope that we can actually make that happen. So I'm going to start planning that way. So since I had nothing really to start with, I started with a previous agenda, and I put it together and I emailed it out, which I think everybody got a copy of, other than Sonny and Jason, of course, and Eddie, but he's got a copy here. So I thought we ought to start someplace. So I guess my first question is, and maybe Greg can answer this, or maybe Matt, is there a date set for the Charleston Area Ham Fest for next year?
Not that I am aware of yet.
Okay.
I know that the KARC is planning on having a tailgate November 7th,
7th, yeah.
which I don't know what that is, if that's something they just wanted to get some fleas out there
I think
kind of
so.
thing. But I'm hoping normally about March is when it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, it was announced on the phone net last week, and from what I understand, they're going to meet at the pool at the Armory.
Yep.
And
Well, pull at the park.
at the park. okay,
At Coonskin Park. Yeah.
Right, at Coonskin. And my understanding, it's going to be more or less a trunk tailgate type of
That's
deal.
all it is, straight
Starting at
tailgate.
9 a.m. and going until it's over.
Right.
So, anyway, I'm sure we'll hear more about that between now and then. Can't say I'm gonna drop down for that, but I might. Oh, you got a flyer? Oh, shit, we even got a flyer. We can make it official. Charleston Area Ham Fest tailgate party swap meet. Clean out your shack and come swap and sell. Free admission. Sunday, November 7th, 9 a.m. to ? Coonskin Park, swimming pool parking lot, and of course the directions. Also, Rick must have been the one organizing. He's the one
Yeah.
announced it on the phone
Yeah.
net, WV8RC. So more information, contact WV8RC at his email, Rick, WV8RC@gmail.com, and his telephone number, 304-610-6404. So I'll hold on to that, and I'll just announce that on the phone net, different nets in the next few weeks, just for kids. So anyway, the reason I'd asked that, wondered about that question, normally that would be our spring meeting of the State Radio Council. So Greg, if you hear anything, or
I will let you know.
please pass the word to us so we can plan for that. The next thing I've got, of course, is the treasurer's report, and Jane's not on. We haven't heard from Jane, right?
No.
Okay. But the last we knew at the last meeting, the treasurer's report hasn't changed. Seemed like it was 7,000, give or take, something like that in the two bank accounts. So that's where we're at. Greg, I don't know if you wanted to make any comment, or Dan, about the 2021 convention that we did online, about how it went or so forth.
I feel that it went pretty good. It had a good attendance, people popping in and out all the time. I think we had a couple good discussions going on. I was going to say it was nice, Dan, for you to get it organized to actually see all the possibilities elected for the
Roanoke Division.
Roanoke Division Director.
Yep.
So
In
that
fact,
way,
I got my ballot in
Yep.
the mail yesterday, so I would assume if you haven't received your ballot, it should be forthcoming.
Well, I probably won't get one because I just realized mine expired because I was supposed to renew it at the convention,
Oh, well,
but I renewed it yesterday.
you probably won't get one in the mail. So.
Exactly.
So I don't know, Dan, do you have any comments on the three candidates at all? Any insight?
I don't have any comment on the three candidates and no particular insights. I've worked with Jim Bonner and I've worked with Bud Hippisley. While they were both directors, I like both of them. I think they're both excellent candidates. I don't know Marv, the candidate from North Carolina, very well. I've been on some Zoom meetings with him, but I've never talked with him one-on-one. So I really don't have any comments there. With regard to the convention, I watched the attendance as we went along. I think the highest attendance that I noticed was 28, and it tended to run right around 25 during most of the convention. Greg, there was discussion about posting the comments made by the directors candidates online. I've not seen that. Was that posted?
That hasn't been posted yet. I just was able to get the information to Eddie, and I think he's going to get that brought up before the end, or probably within a week or so.
Well, the election will probably be pretty much over by then.
Oh.
People getting ballots, I think, are going to return them pretty quickly. And I have been getting questions about where that is, and I have had no answer for them. So, okay, just do the best you can, I guess.
Right.
Aside from that,
WVAR
Probably
Facebook
planning on
site,
doing like a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, for the council,
Okay,
and then we put that stuff in there.
okay. I'm sorry, Dan, you started to say something. I interrupted.
no, I really don't have anything further to say. That's okay.
Okay, all right, very good. So anyway, I think that was the convention was about the best we could do. I think we did well, and we'll just go from there. So that brings me to the next discussion about a date and a location for the 2022 convention. I know we've tried the last 2 years to actually have it at Days Inn. I would assume that the general consensus is we want to try to do that again.
Yes. And normally it's the fourth week in August
Okay.
is what.
Well, something I'll just mention or throw out there, and I was hoping somebody from that group was going to be on the call today. I went up to the Mountaineer Amateur Radio Association's meeting, which I know, Dan, you plan to meet with them at some point too at their repeater site, and we had a discussion. And of course, I talked about the State Radio Council and looking for more participation, and invited those folks to please get involved. And of course, the big complaint that I heard from the leadership there was the weekend that we have the convention, they've always got something else going on. I don't know what the details of that was, but it seemed like they had in their crawl that they were concerned about in the past, and I don't remember how far in the past, that the convention was held at a different time.
Well, the 4-H club, Jackson's Mill, did force us go to the third weekend. So, I mean,
But was it always in August?
it was always
Prior to
August. It was always August.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. For years and years, the convention was held the July 4th weekend at Jackson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And that's what these guys were hoping, that we would consider changing the date. Since we were kind of locked into those dates, if we're continuing to mill, we're not to mill anymore.
No.
So I don't know how we handle that or how we make a decision or whatever the case may be, but it's worth at least kicking the idea around to consider changing the dates or not. I'm going to attend no matter what. So, you know.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of discussion by the council concerning the July 4th weekend and the change from that date. That change was really pushed by the folks at Jackson's Mill. So we pretty much had to go along with it. Now that we're off site, we encountered the other issues in those discussions. And I don't remember how long ago that was. It was years and years ago. But there was a lot of discussion that just July 4th weekend is a family weekend, and a lot of people couldn't come to the mill or didn't want to come to the mill because of the holiday weekend. They wanted to go do other things. we weren't having fireworks, things like that. So they wanted to go where they were. In fact, one year I left the mill the evening of the 4th and went into downtown Weston and watched their fireworks display. But not everybody did that. I think I was the only one who did that. But I was married to a girl from Weston, so I kind of had to.
I got you.
So that was the big obstacle, was the fact that it was a holiday weekend. Now, with regard to the guys from Fairmont, I don't know what their particular problem is with that. We have to do what we have to do. There are all kinds of circumstances.
Right. All right. So I think that's at least worth thinking about. Maybe we can think about that and maybe talk more about it at our next meeting, possibly. We got a little bit of time yet. But I thought it was at least worth listening to their comments and at least bringing it to the meeting. So I did ask them if they would come and do the Wolfong ceremony in 2022, which they said they would. But again, they're still concerned about that date. So again, I don't know what it is they got going on that weekend, but there might be something. So we can discuss that a little further. So we do want to continue with the Days Inn and Conference Center. And Jane's she's the one who's been talking to them. So I'll send her an email and ask her to reach out to them and check on the normal third weekend in August, and then see if there would be any other dates that would be available.
Well, July, yeah, sometime in July, then,
Yeah,
later July or.
yeah. I don't know if it even needs to be July 4th weekend, but so we can do some research to see what may be available and we go. And of course, that's going to kind of depend on a lot of this other stuff, meeting rooms, convention vendors, flea market, meals, and all that kind of stuff, to start planning for all that. I was hoping that Randy would be here and he could confirm the QSO party date for 2022. And I haven't looked at the calendar, but if it's somewhere around June 20th, it'll probably still be that weekend. Probably gonna be like, what would this be, 19th? I forget. But Greg's looking at his calendar, so we can check that.
See, June 20th is a Monday, so the 19th is a Sunday,
So it'll be the 18th.
18th.
I was thinking it might be 18th. Okay, so most likely that'll end up being the week, June 18th. We can start talking that up as well. Of course, we don't know about technical forum. Probably a little early to start thinking about keynote speaker and all that kind of stuff. I was happy with the folks that were involved from the league as our speakers. So,
Well,
and I assume you probably felt the same.
as the keynote speaker, my understanding is that from when Mom did it, we had to get 3 names, submit that to them, and then they would come back with who would be available.
Okay.
Kind of thing. I was gonna say, Ed did it last year, so he might be able to have some more insight.
Kathy did it.
yeah.
Yeah, Kathy, you're the one scheduled the folks coming from the league last year, right?
Yeah, they him hauled around about, even having somebody, and because they were not sending anybody out, and I'm like, well, can we do it by computer? Like, well, yeah, well, maybe we can. So yeah, I guess I can handle that again this year. Are we gonna have the secretary fill out the Hamfest form? If so, they're gonna need some information, and we need to get it in a little sooner than what we did last time.
Okay. Well, and of course, Matt's here, and I prefaced the meeting before we started with that, thanking him for stepping up and becoming secretary, but he really has no idea really what's all entailed. So this is going to be
Okay,
a
I'll take care of it.
And he seems to be willing to take that on. So we'll all just kind of have to help him here a little bit.
Well, the only thing is there's important dates that we're going to need to have. And, of course, Ann, if, it fell back to, Ann always took care of it. And so, we need to have these dates. We ought to try to get them by the end of the year, have everything set by the end of the year so we can go ahead and submit our paperwork and it won't be a rush job.
That's kind of important. Then we're going to have to make a decision about the date before we submit that paperwork. So okay. West Virginia Amateur of the Year, Cappy, you'll continue to do that as vice president for next year, right? Or this year?
Yeah.
This year,
Yep.
next year, however you look at it. All right, and of course, Chuck did indicate about the roll order of the Wolfong that he planned to participate in that if he can. I'm sure what that was, but with David Poe's not on, we were hoping he was going to be here to check about V testing for next year. Terry was here, but I assume Terry's probably gone. So we'll check onto that. And the next thing is the booklet. I know, Greg, you've kind of accepted that role in the last couple of years.
Not a problem. I can keep up with that.
Well, I was hoping you
I
would.
will, I will confirm
I
that one
was
for
hoping
you.
that you would say that. That's excellent.
I just will need all the documentation sent to me.
Okay, very good. And then in the past, we've tried to do the booster page, and just so everybody knows, especially for Greg and Sonny and so forth here behind us, what we've tried to do is send out information to the clubs and ask folks to give $1 and their name and call sign to go on the booster page. And basically what that ends up doing, that $1, if you will, helps pay for the expense of the booklet. That's what it comes down to, and it benefits the council. So I guess my question to everybody here, to think about, or maybe you've got a feeling about it, is this something that's worth continuing? I can tell you, since I've been involved in the last many years, we're lucky to get 20 or 30 people to donate to that. Correct.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't realize that's what that was about.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
That's somewhat.
Maybe we need to publicize that.
Well, and we can do that. We probably need to publicize that on our website.
Yeah.
Send emails out to the clubs, all that kind of stuff. What I can tell you, what Ann always did is when people requested, she would actually send them in the mail a form and an envelope to take care of that, and then send it back. And of course, with my club, I always just took care of it, and I would just come back to the next meeting with the envelope and the list and hand it to Ann. That's how I would always do it.
Yeah.
So maybe we can try that another year, and if it's a flop, maybe we consider not doing it again. Okay, and of course, we're also hoping we're going to have an auction, and the way it's, since we haven't had one in the last 2 years, you would think we're going to have one dandy auction next year. So, Dan, I don't know if you're willing to comment whether you're willing, and maybe Jim's willing to continue as auctioneers next year if we have the event.
Well, I have threatened many years in the past just to write a check for what we usually make from the auction and not have to do it. But I'm willing to do it. I don't know about it being real dandy. Things like Kanawha County's boot sale or tailgate sale or whatever they call it, that really impacts us because having something like that a couple of months or even 4 months before the auction kind of takes things out of circulation. And there has never been from the council much promotion at the auction other than to say we're having it. We need to actively solicit people to bring things into the auction. Best auction we ever had was the result of an estate that came into my office, and I said to the family, why don't you just donate this stuff? You're unlikely to make very much money selling it locally or anything like that. And they all thought, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And we made several $100s with that estate sale. But an estate sale is difficult because there's typically a lot of stuff that comes in and it has to be carried into the auction site and all that. So it can be difficult. Also, when we're talking with the hotel, if we're going to have the auction, we need to make sure that they don't object to our using their dumpsters to get rid of the unsold items, let's refer to it that way.
Yep, yep, I agree with that. So got some work to do on that. I personally, every time that I came to the auction, I have a great time. You know, to me, it's a fun evening. You know, of course, we have, you know, usually pizza and that kind of thing to, you know, kind of munch on during the auction. And, you know, we always laugh and carry on and have a good time. And especially we have some bidding wars in some ways whenever we had, like, I remember the year we had all that coax seal and, you know, I bought a bag and then we just passed it around, everybody else would buy a bag. And it's always been fun. And, you know, I think what we need to do is go back to our clubs and talk about, you know, how fun that event is and see if we can encourage people to donate and actually attend. So
Every really good auction we've had someone step up and be exceptionally generous in bringing things in. And in Ollie did it for a long, long time. After Ollie's death, Ann brought in most of his equipment that she wanted or needed to get rid of. And it was always good stuff. And I bought several pieces over the years and I've enjoyed them. So if someone just looks at their stuff and says, I'm never going to rehab this or renew it, or I just don't need it anymore, then bring it to the auction and we get rid of it. People like things like that. I've been looking around my shack. I've got several things that I could bring in myself. The last couple of years we had the auction, I just wasn't in physical shape to lug stuff around. Now I can. So we'll see. But we do need to promote it.
all right, so yeah, we'll continue to try to promote it and that type of thing. Okay, DX Forum. I'm sure it's too early to, you know, have a suggestion on who might be willing to do that. QCWA, I figured Rich would be on our call today, but he's not. I'm sure that group will probably want to be involved. And of course, we'll need to continue with the ARRL, Aries, and NTS type forums that we always do. The talk-in station, if we're going to do it in Flatwoods, I will set that up again, and we'll use my repeater in Glenville. That's no issue. So forth there. That's more or less what I've got for today. I think we needed to decide for sure to whether we want to try to change the date or try to stick with that third Saturday in August. So when I get home this evening, I'll send an email to Jane and hopefully she'll get back to me and we can start having that discussion and ask her to reach out to the days in to see what's available. So that brings me to the next thing. We normally have this meeting in October, and then we normally don't have a meeting in March. Probably going to have another meeting between now and the end of the year, most likely. Do we want to have a meeting in November? Do we want to have a meeting in December? What's
Say, let's go 2 months. Let's go do December. Okay, that's what I say. Let's go ahead and do 2 months. I don't think we need to start doing like monthly yet.
no? I don't think we do. So I think we can probably do a meeting in December.
Yeah.
We get like the third and fourth week of December. We're getting close to Christmas and New Year. Right. So we probably ought to have either the first Saturday or the second Saturday in December.
Okay.
Any preferences for calendars? No, Cappy? No, Matt?
Probably
Just let
stay,
me know.
for me, staying away from the first weekend in December would be good. And
Okay.
probably for Dad too, really. Because
Okay. He got someone the first week of December. He didn't know about it?
grandchild birthday.
Oh, yeah.
First
Sounds like
weekend.
you got a birthday party you're going to attend on the first Saturday of December, Cappy.
So the second
Oh, I do. Okay.
possibility.
That's a
Okay.
possibility. All right, so let's plan for the second Saturday. What's that date?
December
11th. December the 11th. And we want to do 1 p.m. I like 1 p.m. personally.
Yep.
All right, next question is, do we want to meet via Zoom or do we want to try to meet somewhere in person?
Zoom is so easy.
Or do we want to do a combination?
Why don't we go ahead and do a combination?
Do you want to, I was even thinking, do you want to like meet in Flatwoods?
Well, I personally like going down to Flatwoods and having a lunch meeting. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, we could either do the Shoney's there in Flatwoods or we could actually go into the convention center and maybe get them to give us a tour of what they might provide for us. so that we
Well,
all, we could
Actually,
all
that's,
see.
that's probably not a bad idea, and ask them that we're gonna come do that. Can we have a meeting there?
Yeah,
Because they've got a couple small conference rooms there that we could probably use for this and then be able to look at the rest of it.
All right, so I'm gonna ask Jane to ask that question, and if she doesn't, I'll give a call down there. and talk to somebody, so. All right, that sounds like a good plan.
and like I said, when we can, I'll make sure that I bring the computer and Wi-Fi if we need to do a Zoom meeting.
Okay, very good. So that'll take care of that too. Wonderful. Okay, something that I realized this morning that I do not have, and I think maybe Greg's got, or maybe Dan has, is an email list of who we send emails to for announcements for the council. Like, is there an email list? I know Dan's got access to the ARRL membership list that he sends out to. But do you have something, Greg, that
I
your mom
know
used? or-
mom had something. I can see if I can find it. I do
Okay.
have her computer.
Okay.
So I'll see, and then see if I can transpose it to something that would be able to easily be submitted, copy and paste kind of thing.
Okay, all right. Well,
I
like that-
suspect what Ann had was the ARRL's West Virginia extraction from what they call the big club list. And the big club list is horribly out of date. And it depends on whoever receives the email, taking it to their club to make announcements, and that's imperfect at best.
And it's like, if I don't have a club.
And so Dan, is there a way to extract a list of emails that are ARRL members, or do you just send out to your emailer? I'm not sure how that works, so.
The email list that I use is restricted to the section manager, but I can use it for anything I want, and I do. Historically, it was terribly underused by section managers. Every time I see something I think is of interest to a majority of the ARRL members in the state, I'll send it out. Because as I say, I can use it for whatever I want. So if you have state radio council announcements that you'd like to send out, I'd be happy to do that. Just send me the text of the announcement and I'll paste it into the system that I have access to. The problem with that is we have a relatively small ARRL membership in West Virginia. In fact, nationally, only 20% of licensed hams are members of the league. And those emails only go to members of the league. And I don't know how many may be receiving that list. I'm told there's a way to find that out, but I've not been able to identify it yet. So.
All right, well, at least we've got that. Maybe in the meantime, I will try to send out emails. The email of all of the clubs in the state. There's an email address on the State Radio Council website. So I guess I'll start there. The question is, how many of those are even still working? How many of those folks are even active? We do need to update that stuff. So we need to work on that pretty hard, I think.
We
this year.
could, since we have, since there's enough of us here and the council's got a Google account, we could build a Google form and just let people go and re-register that information with us. And there's enough Facebook activity that between the emails that do go out to people and all the people that are active in the couple, 3 or 4 West Virginia specific Facebook groups, I think we can get it, at least build a decent registry, and then they can just go in, add their own information, and that would help across the board, not just with us, but we could share that information with Dan so he can see the clubs that are actually still participating in things and go from there.
Well, and I know, Eddie, you created a Facebook page for
For the council.
WVA, is that called? So we probably need to take advantage of that too. And maybe as part of this process, we need to encourage clubs and so forth to sign up to that Facebook page as well. So that'll be another avenue to communicate.
I
with
could
them.
probably even get Mike to just send that stuff out in one link, because he's got a pretty good side participation.
Okay, that can't hurt either. So
Yeah.
any way we can communicate with amateurs in West Virginia is going to benefit us. And maybe it's going to help this, because what I would like to see, and of course, this is kind of an objective that I've kind of made in the back of my mind for as president of the club for the next 2 years, is try our best to make this Hamfest and convention better than what it ever has been. Not saying we'll ever make it a big Hamfest by any means, but if we could even start and get 200 people to participate, that would be a benefit than what it's been up to now. So, anyway, that's just my thought. I hope we can do that. We'll see. So any ideas and suggestions to help do that? Let's talk about it and see what we can do to make that happen. All right, well, that's all I've got for today, unless anybody else has anything. Anything for general discussion?
I'm often wondering with the door prizes, if the way we can start selling chances early on instead of just selling them right at the.
We can. Didn't we talk a little bit about that?
We
Yeah, we
had, I mean,
Yeah.
even seeing if we could set up the Charleston Handfest and set up at the table. And sell a few, and then maybe if we could do it online somehow.
We could, because, my belief is we get their funds. It doesn't really matter to us if they attend in a roundabout way. We've kind of got their money. And then if they win a prize, we figure out a way to get them to them. So
Yeah.
it's no real big deal.
Then
So,
again, if you do it online, you never know, somebody might get in there every once in a while and say, oh, I'll get a couple tickets there.
yeah.
And you're starting to see a lot of people do that, and it's spread out through the state as all of us are. If you can't be at one, say the Huntington Ham Fest, but Greg and I can be, then that would be our, we'll sit it, we'll man that table. And then if there was one in Morgantown that we can't be at, somebody else could sit up there and do that. And we definitely, Portsmouth, Ohio, their amateur radio club, they travel everywhere and they start selling tickets
Oh, yeah.
for their.
I bought tickets.
You
for
find them all over the place at different places, selling their tickets.
Well,
for them.
if I remember right, they had some pretty decent prizes the last time I saw
Yeah,
them.
like at one year, they had like 5 Yaesu 91s that they did. I mean, they had a huge amount of prizes.
Okay, well, that does bring me one other thing. I know we had talked about vendors, and the vendors that was planning on coming, which I don't know who that was, Greg, maybe you can comment on that. Like the idea of coming to Days Inn because
yes.
they can set up the night before.
Correct.
So with that being said, how many vendors do we have that was planning on coming?
I think we had 2 that had talked to me.
Okay,
Unfortunately, I don't have their names.
okay. I mean, were they just,
They just called in.
Amateurs,
They
or-
were just, no, they were actually, they weren't big name, but they were like, the one that always comes. to
like
Charleston
brings the
Handfest, yeah.
connectors and
Yeah,
knobs,
brings
like
all the
like
connectors and
gentleman's
knobs
back
and all
here?
that, yeah.
Okay. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that will continue this
Yeah.
coming year. Okay, anybody with anything else today? Greg, Eddie, Matt? All right, very good. So I hope to see everybody. If you can attend on December the 11th, we'll try to confirm whether we can meet at Days Inn and then get an opportunity to talk to them about what they can offer us. Otherwise, we will do the Zoom session at 1 o'clock on December the 11th as well. As a thumbs up from Cappy. Thanks, everybody. And I'm gonna leave this with you, Matt. That way you got that for the minutes. Okay, so we need to try to give